Hello and welcome to Cooking with Rufert. Today we'll be making tarteletter med høns i asparges. It's part of the traditional Danish øen. You'll also see it a lot at big family gatherings because it's inoffensive and most people like it. We're going to start out by making the shells. If you have access to store-bought pie dough though, you can use that and skip this step. Even better if you can buy the shells in the store. Take 200 grams of regular wheat flour. Whisk out an egg for later. The thing about eggs is, you want to watch out for salmonella. If the chicken laying the egg has salmonella, it isn't actually transferred to the inside of the egg. It is, however, in the poop, and since chickens shit, piss and fart out eggs from the same hole, they'll be covering the shell of the egg. It takes about 14 days for it to penetrate to the inside. Because of this, you've got to practice good hygiene when touching eggs. Try not to get shells and things, and toss the shells immediately. Wash your hands after having handled eggs and before you do anything else in a chicken. That was just a bit about eggs. Then add half a teaspoon of salt in the flour and mix. Add 150 grams of butter. Due to my strained relationship with lactose, I'm not using butter in this and it bites me in the arse later on. You'll see. Mix the butter in there and add the egg. Keep mixing until you have a ball. Cover it up and leave it in the fridge for at least an hour. Then roll it out on a flour covered surface. The idea here is to fold it up into little cups that will contain the slop we make later. I mentioned not using proper butter before, and this is where it bites me in the ass. It turns out to be very difficult to shape with the softer plant shit I used. But it does nothing to affect the taste, so the end product is still the same, it's just not as pretty. There are a few easier ways to do this. If you have something oven proof, you can sort of drape the dough over it in kind of like an upside down bowl, and you can just have it bake on that, which is fine. You can also do what I was planning to do, which is to get one of those metal muffin forms. You can probably also use the paper ones and just plop it in there in the vague shape and have it harden. But apparently there's something called Maudry Thursday, so I couldn't buy any of that fucking shit. But that's never stopped me. I tried to do it the hard way. And these videos are also sort of meant to be for people who might not have the most stuff in the kitchen. And I'm also making a lot of this stuff from the bottom up, just so everyone can do it if it's not available in their country. Like these fucking shells you can get anywhere here in DK. Just go and buy them in the store. But I'm not doing that, because you might not have that option. I am a fine man. Anyway, slap them in a preheated oven at 200 degrees Celsius for about 20 to 25 minutes. Then put them aside in a sealed container. If you're feeling lucky, you can try and time it with making the slop so they're ready at the same time. I wouldn't really bother though, because they reheat fine, so just leave them somewhere and then give them 5 minutes in the oven before you eat the other slop. Then you take about half a kilo of chicken, and that's 500 grams for those of you having trouble with the simpler system of measurement. You cut it into tiny bits, and prepare 2.5 deciliters of chicken stock for later. If you have a whole chicken, you can cook that in a pot and then get your own chicken stock from that. So that's not necessary. Then you can just peel the meat off the bones of the chicken and use that. And it's a lot easier. Then you can skip the next part, which is to brown the chicken in 25 grams of butter for a few minutes. You're going to keep the stock simmering while you do this, and then you'll be adding 1.5 deciliters of cream, and all of the water from a tin of asparagus. And let that simmer, and don't forget to stir it, you don't want it burning the bottom of the pot. Make a flour bowl with 25 grams of butter and 2 tablespoons of flour. Chop some carrots if you like those. If they're bigger, make sure to peel them first, but I use little baby ones, so rinsing them is enough. Then you put the butterball thing into the slop pot and bring it to a light boil. Keep whisking until you're sweating like a deviant in a fucking bush. After about 10 minutes, pour it into the chicken pot and turn up the heat for that to boil. Then add the asparagus from the tin we took the water from previously, the carrots and some very fine peas. Cover it in a low boil for about 10 minutes. Stir it every now and then. You don't want it burning the bottom of the pot. Of the 5 shells I made, only one of them could hold liquid. There it is. Pour some slop into it, and of course, if you're trying to get laid, If not, then just pour it everywhere and shovel it into the relevant orifice. Thanks for watching, and oh, if you try any of these dishes, please send me some pictures on Twitter. I'd like to see how it went, even if you fuck it up. Time for watching.